Hey there, baseball fans, and welcome into the ninth episode, the ninth inning, if you will, of the Catch here at Las Vegas Ballpark. As always, I'm your host, Matt Neverett, coming to you with our special World Series recap edition of the Catch here at Las Vegas Ballpark. The Dodgers defeated the Rays in 6 games. We'll break it down game by game, tell you exactly what went down in this year's Fall Classic. Also, be sure to check out our team store both in person here at the Las Vegas Ballpark and online at aviators.milbstore.com with the promo code THECATCH. You'll get 40% off of $59.50 fitted hats. That's right, the game-worn hats that every minor and major league team uses on the field. 40% off for a limited time only at aviators.milbstore.com. Be sure to use the promo code THECATCH and tell them that Matt sent you. World Series recap coming up here on The Catch. Don't go anywhere. Welcome back into the Catch here at Las Vegas Ballpark. I'm your host, Matt Neverett. Once again, don't forget 40% off all fitted hats at our team store at aviators.milb.com with the promo code THECATCH. Be sure to tell them that Matt sent you. You're tuned into our special World Series recap edition of the Catch here at Las Vegas Ballpark, and it was a World Series for the ages in what looked like it was going to be a dominant Dodger victory early on in the series, turned into a more or less even set in which the Dodgers eventually were named the victors after 6 games, winning their 7th World Series title and their first since 1988.
Dave Roberts. And strike 3. Dodgers have won it all in 2020.
Let's get right into it. We're going to break down how every game went. Game 1 was all Dodgers all the way, an 8-3 win to get things kicked off for LA behind a great start from Clayton Kershaw, who tossed 6 innings, gave up 1 run on a Kevin Kiermaier solo home run among just the 2 hits he allowed over those 6 frames, struck out 8, got the victory, the first of 2 in the series. Mookie Betts also had a great game. He had a great game not only for the team, but for America. Taco Bell was running their Steal a Base, Steal a Taco promotion that they've been doing the past handful of years in the World Series, where if anyone steals a base, everybody got a free taco. Go figure, Mookie Betts steals 2 in the same inning. He actually had a third one taken away by a video replay, and it was ruled a wild pitch, and it was eventually taken away, but Mookie Betts was walked, stole 2 bases in the same inning. That came in the 5th, and Mookie Betts, the first player to do that, walk and steal 2 bases in the same trip around the bags in a World Series game since a guy named Babe Ruth all the way back in the 1920s. You don't think of Babe Ruth as a base stealer, but he was walked and stole 2 bases in the World Series once long ago. Mookie Betts matching the feat, not only for his team, but for America, winning the tacos and winning the game. More importantly, got to take things into perspective, as an 8-3 win got the Dodgers on the board with a 1-0 series advantage in the 2020 Fall Classic, and the Rays were able to even up the series thanks to a 6-4 win in Game 2 with a not-so-sharp start from Blake Snell. We'll get to that storyline. If you were able to watch Game 6, you know what's coming up. But in Game 2, Snell was not sharp. He walked 4, did strike out 9, but lasted just 4 2/3 innings. The former Cy Young winner was backed up by his stud second baseman, who turned into a stud in the postseason, Brandon Lau, former minor league baseball player of the year, blasted 2 home runs in the game. Solo shot off Tony Gonsolin in the first inning. Then he took Dustin May deep for a 2-run job in the 5th. The Dodgers scored the final 2 runs of the game in the 6th and 8th innings in a late comeback attempt, but Diego Castillo came in, recorded a single out to end the game, get his first and only save of the 2020 World Series, and after 2 games, it was 1-1. It was a very tight set through the first 2 games. The Dodgers took advantage of a very strong Walker Buehler start in Game 3, where he outdueled the veteran Charlie Morton, who was coming off of the victory in Game 7 of the American League Championship Series, but it was the young buck getting the best of the old bull in Game 3 as Walker Buehler tossed 6 innings, gave up a single run while walking 3 hits. Again, that single run complemented by 10 punch-outs. Walker Buehler, with his best start of the postseason, just happened to come in Game 3 of the World Series. Morton, meanwhile, lasted 4 1/3. He gave up 5 runs, which was all that the Dodgers would need in the 6-2 win, although Randy Arozarena in Game 3 blasted the 9th of his eventual 10 postseason home runs. We're going to get to Randy later because he had a postseason for the ages. He holds multiple Rays career postseason records, and he's played in just the single postseason thus far. Randy Arozarena with the home run. It wasn't enough, as 2 runs in the 3rd and the 4th each were enough for the Dodgers in a game that included the only sacrifice bunt in the series. Austin Barnes bunted Mookie Betts home from 3rd on a play that Ji-Man Choi could not make from first base, so the sac bunt included in that game was enough, as the Dodgers enough offense early and the defense held on late in a 6-2 win thanks to the strong start from Walker Buehler. After 3 games, Dodgers were on top 2-1, and it looked like they were on the cusp of being within a game. Looked like they were going to take a 3-1 lead in Game 4, but that was not the case in what turned into one of the most classic endings to a World Series game ever. It was an exciting game to get things started. It was back and forth really from the start of the game, but the focus is going to be on the final play, the walk-off that allowed the Rays to even the series at 2 games apiece. It was an 8-7 final. Dodgers, again, were on the cusp of getting within a game. It would have been the 47th team to take a 3-1 lead in a best-of-7 World Series out of the previous 46 to do so. 40 of them, including 11 of the last 12, had won it all. And Clayton Kershaw on the mound in Game 5. Coming up, they did not want to have that if you're the Rays, and they used Brett Phillips, of all players, an unlikely character who, kind of a career journeyman, started as a prospect with the Brewers, fizzled out a bit, was on the Royals for a while. He was acquired in a trade on August 27th, and he had entered the game as a pinch runner in the 8th inning. And, oh yeah, Phillips hadn't had an at-bat since the beginning of October. October 7th was the last time that Brett Phillips had even gone to the plate prior to Game 4 of the World Series. What a situation. He did so with 2 men on base, the game-winning run in the form of Randy Arozarena on second. He took Kenley Jansen the other way, a bloop single to right that was misplayed by Chris Taylor, who was in center field after some roster and lineup shuffling by Dave Roberts, and Taylor had not played center field in the postseason until that point. Booted the ball a bit, was able to pick it up in time. The throw to the cutoff man Max Muncy down the first base line was strong. Randy Arozarena had rounded third. The game had already been tied. He sees the cutoff throw. He slips coming around third base. Muncy's throw to the catcher Barnes was on the money, but it tipped off the mitt of Austin Barnes, went to the backstop. Randy Arozarena stumbling, bumbling, fumbling on his way home, landed on home plate, slammed the plate emphatically a couple of times, and Brett Phillips took off towards the left field wall. It took his teammates about 45 seconds to catch him in the outfield, and just the scenes, the visuals, the pure joy and elation that the Tampa Bay Rays showed really shows why the game of baseball is so much fun and why this was one of the classic World Series games of all time, let alone in this World Series alone. So the Rays were able to take the 8-7 win in Game 4 and even up the series. All of a sudden, we've got a best-of-3 set with Games 5, 6, and possibly 7 upcoming. The Dodgers took care of business in Game 5. It was a close one. After all the offense in the first 4 games of the series, the pitching dominated late in both of these final 2 games. In Game 5, the Dodgers were able to win 4-2 thanks to 6 strikeouts from Clayton Kershaw. He really put on a show. He got his second win of the World Series. The Rays scored their only runs in the 3rd inning on a Yandy Diaz triple and then a Randy Arozarena RBI base hit that drove in Diaz from third base. The biggest play of the game, though, was Manuel Margot trying to steal home in the World Series, which would have been the first time that anyone was able to steal home on a straight steal in a World Series game since Jackie Robinson, all the way back in 1955. For the Dodgers. This one was against the Dodgers. Manuel Margot in the 4th inning with the Dodgers up by a 3-2 score attempted a straight steal of home off of Clayton Kershaw. Kershaw's got that move when he's out of the set where he holds his hands high above his head and then slams them down to the chest as a resetting measure. Max Muncy, a heads-up play at first base, saw Manuel Margot break for the plate, called it out. Kershaw, cool as a cucumber, stepped off the plate, threw a strike to the plate, and Manuel Margot was called out. They reviewed the play. He was called out once again, and manager Kevin Cash said after the fact that it was Margot's own idea and that he supported his player, and it almost worked out. But after that, Mookie Betts blasted a solo home run in the 8th inning, and that would be the end of that 4-2 winner. It was actually Max Muncy with a solo home run, rather, in that game. 3 1/3 scoreless from the bullpen, meanwhile, that game, after they had given up just a number of ticky-tacky, pesky base hits, a run here, a run there throughout the series. The bullpen was lights out for the Dodgers down the back end in Game 5. They claimed it by a 4-2 score and were within one game of their first World Series championship since 1988. That win came the very next day in Game 6. Thanks to Kevin Cash, an unlikely suspect, if you will. Tell you how in a moment, as Blake Snell was absolutely lights out. He tossed 5 1/3 innings on just 73 pitches. He gave up 2 hits, 1 run, had struck out 9 to that point, and had not walked a batter. And after a base hit put the tying run on base as the Rays were up 1-0, that would be it. Kevin Cash made one of the most controversial decisions of the year, quite possibly of any year. It was an interesting move, but it was one that the Rays had done all year. Cash pulled their starter Snell out of the game after just 73 pitches. Even the Dodgers after the game said that they were happy to see him come out because he was missing a lot of bats. Blake Snell was absolutely outstanding. He was lifted from the game almost immediately. The Dodgers scored 2 runs to take the lead. Blake Snell, after the game in a press conference, was able to maintain his composure. He was very mature about it, but you could tell he was very upset. He was upset in the moment, as he should have been. Blake Snell tossed 5 1/3 innings, 9 strikeouts, had given up just the 1 run. The rest of the game, the bullpen needed 4 pitchers to get through 2 2/3. They allowed 2 runs on 3 hits while walking 2 and striking out just 2 batters. The Dodgers recorded just 5 hits in the 3-1 victory in Game 6, which was as many as the Rays had. But it was a wild pitch in the 6th inning that brought Mookie Betts home after Snell had been lifted from the game. And Betts added a solo insurance home run in the 8th inning. Julio Urias capped off a stellar, and I mean absolutely awesome postseason with 2 1/3 innings of perfect relief out of the bullpen. No runs, no hits, no walks, no strikeouts, rather. It's his 7th World Series, and Urias was elated on the mound, as anyone should be, when they win the World Series. The Dodgers win the World Series in 6 games behind 2 wins on the mound from Clayton Kershaw, just as a certain host predicted. I'm going to say the Dodgers in 6 games, and as a bold prediction, Clayton Kershaw registers not 1 but 2 wins. I think he gets the win in Game 1. They put him out there in Game 5 or 6, and I think that he gets the win in that closeout game. So again, my prediction, Dodgers in 6, Kershaw with 2 wins. Of course, that means it's not going to happen, right? When we return to the catch, we'll give you a bit more. We'll tell you some postseason and MVP awards when we return on the catch, and we'll break down some off-season news as well. Don't you go anywhere. This is the catch at Las Vegas Ballpark. Welcome back into the catch here at Las Vegas Ballpark. I'm your host, Matt Neverett. Just broke down how the Dodgers were able to defeat the Rays in 6 games in this year's Fall Classic. They would not have been able to do so without the help of their shortstop, Corey Seager, who was named World Series MVP after being named the National League Championship Series MVP as well. First player to go back-to-back in the MVP awards since Madison Bumgarner in 2014. Seager was instrumental for the Dodgers in this 2020 World Series, batting an even .400 across the 6 games. Home runs in games 2 and 4, also doubled 4 times, stole a base for good measure, and was on base in 14 separate at-bats, a number that led all batters in the World Series. He also scored a series-best 7 runs and drove in 5 more. Corey Seager was blazing hot in the end of the playoffs. He was, again, just the 8th player to win the LCS and World Series MVPs, first to do so since Mad Bum in 2014. There was a guy on the Rays who had a legitimate shot for the World Series MVP on the losing team, Randy Arozarena, the Cuban rookie, coming out of nowhere. He was a star prospect in the Cardinals system. The Rays picked him up for more or less a bag of balls a year or 2 ago, and he had a coming-out party for the ages. Arozarena entered the 2020 postseason with 9 home runs in the regular season, made his debut last year with the Cardinals. Arozarena blasted 10 home runs in this year's playoffs, which is a Rays career postseason record, a number which was held by Evan Longoria, who blasted 9 during a couple different trips to the playoffs with the Rays. Arozarena, the new postseason hits, total bases, and home runs king. Granted, there was the extra round added this year. It added 2 games for the Rays. Go figure, Arozarena homered in both of those games. So Arozarena with 3 home runs in the World Series, 10 in the playoffs, which is a new record. Again, the Rays' all-time postseason home run leader. 3 home runs in the Fall Classic ties a rookie World Series record. You got a new record in the playoffs for total bases and total hits, and ties David Freese in 2011 with 14 extra base hits in a playoffs. Randy Arozarena, if there was a playoff MVP, he would have won it emphatically, without a question. Corey Seager was the unanimous World Series MVP on the winning team, but Randy Arozarena, I think, had a legitimate shot to win it on the losing team. And speaking of winning and celebrating, this World Series was not without controversy. The MLB was able to trudge their way through a 60-game season, a smattering of coronavirus cases throughout the regular season, most notably on the Marlins, who were able to make the playoffs, as well as the Cardinals, a couple of big teams that were affected by COVID-19 outbreaks. And there was one in the middle of Game 6. Justin Turner had tested positive for COVID-19 during the middle of Game 6. They got the positive test in the middle of the game. He was lifted for Edwin Rios in the 8th inning. Lo and behold, 2 innings later, the Dodgers win their first World Series championship since 1988. Justin Turner, at this point, knew that he was COVID-19 positive. He was in isolation in the annals of the stadium. And the story goes is that when the Dodgers won, he emphatically broke the protocol, came out onto the field and celebrated with his team. Can't necessarily knock the guy for wanting to celebrate with his team, but in a statement, the MLB more or less said the same thing. It's tough to argue that it's fun to celebrate and that they are well-deserved celebration there, but Justin Turner broke every protocol that had established this point in the MLB season, went out, celebrated with and without a mask around his teammates and his wife and family and everything. It was an interesting situation in a year in which the MLB had been so lauded, especially in the playoffs with the mini pseudo-bubble that they did for the World Series, of kind of getting their coronavirus under control. There were not that many cases throughout the end of the regular season and the playoffs, if any. And Justin Turner putting his teammates at risk celebrating the World Series championship. As of the filming of this episode, no other positive COVID-19 cases were reported as of yet. The Dodgers team plane was allowed to fly from Texas to L.A., minus Turner and his wife, who were flying separately. Again, still no positive cases, still no cases either way, but we're hoping for the best there as the Dodgers were able to claim their World Series championship. Again, the 7th overall, first since 1988. In other baseball news, there were a couple of awards, some regular season awards, handed out the other day. It was the American and National League Reliever of the Year awards. In our last episode, told you the 3 candidates in each league. They have been narrowed down to a final 1 in each league. First off, in the American League, congratulations to Oakland Athletics closer Liam Hendriks. The Aussie was named the American League Reliever of the Year, the Mariano Rivera Award. Hendricks was outstanding this year with a plucky Rays team that was able to make the playoffs and fight off the White Sox. Hendricks was named the AL Reliever of the Year after posting 14 saves, again, in just a 60-game season. He had a 1.7 ERA out of that strong Oakland Athletics bullpen, so congratulations, Liam Hendriks, our very own Oakland Athletic closer, for the American League Reliever of the Year, the Mariano Rivera Award. The Trevor Hoffman Award awarded to the National League Reliever of the Year, Devin Williams, the rookie reliever for the Milwaukee Brewers. It's the first to do it since the current iteration of the award was started in 2014 without a save. Williams, not a closer. He was a middle innings to late inning reliever who posted a sterling, stone-cold 0.33 ERA in 27 innings out of the pen in the shortened season. He struck out 53 batters. That's over 2 an inning. So Devin Williams, again, the first reliever of the year as the award is currently handed out since 2014 on, with no saves, with that 0.33 ERA and that almost 2 strikeout per inning rate. That'll get you awards pretty much every year that you put those numbers up. So congratulations to Hendricks and Williams, your AL and NL relievers of the year. When we come back to The Catch, we'll wrap you up and set you on the off season. Don't go anywhere. This is The Catch at Las Vegas Ballpark.
What the Aviators have done is they've given a reason for Las Vegas to love their baseball team again. From the groundbreaking on, literally it couldn't be done. It was just the timeline to get a state-of-the-art stadium built was impossible. To get the team organized, ready to go, to even get out here and play, nobody really knew if we could do this. And the fact that not only we did it, but it was done at such a high professional, high quality level.
Once again, welcome back into the Catch here at Las Vegas Ballpark. I'm Matt Neverett. Just wrapped up our special World Series recap edition of the Catch. The Dodgers defeating the Rays in 6 games at Globe Life Park in Arlington, Texas. Here at the Las Vegas Ballpark in Las Vegas, Nevada. We're still using the ballpark in many ways and following proper social distancing protocols. You can check out the Las Vegas Ballpark with our special first-class tours every Thursday. More information on that at thelvballpark.com. We're also going to be starting movie nights here at the Las Vegas Ballpark, being viewed in pods, once again following state guidelines and social distancing protocols. For more information on both our first-class tours and our movie nights here at the Las Vegas Ballpark, be sure to check out thelvballpark.com. I want to say thank you so much for tuning in to The Catch here at Las Vegas Ballpark today and throughout the Major League Baseball season. It's been so much fun to break down the end of the regular season, this fun, expanded playoffs, and what will surely be remembered as a classic World Series where the Dodgers were able to defeat the Rays in 6 games. Be sure to stay tuned to our social media channels here at the Las Vegas Aviators and the LV Ballpark. Keep it locked on our YouTube channel and check out our other social media avenues for more information. Again, on the Aviators for the 2021 season and for the Las Vegas Ballpark. Follow me on Twitter at Matt Neverett, and don't forget about our 40% off sale on all fitted hats in our team store this week only at aviators.milbstore.com with the promo code TheCatch. Once again, I'm Matt Neverett saying thank you so much for tuning in to The Catch at your Las Vegas Ballpark.